Hi, I'm Gleb. In just 7 days I created this and this. First of all, try to guess on which game I spent more time. These games I've created during 2 game jams. If you don't know, a game jam is a competition-like event. Sailors have regattas. Programmers have hackathons. And we, game developers, we have game jams. In a game jam, you are given a limited amount of time to develop a game. Also, there is a theme that you need to follow and usually have some more rules you need to follow. When you're competing against others, you can show and improve your skills. By this way, you can validate your skills against industry, and you can see what is also possible to do in short period of time, and it can give you some ideas on what you need to improve in your skills. My story for these 2 games is following. Firstly, I joined GMTK 2024 Game Jam. This game jam lasted 4 days and the theme was Build to Scale. For this game, I used an idea to create an educational game. As you may know, I'm a biologist, so I've created a game that educates you about a cell structure. I'm actually struggled with idea for this jam, so I'm not only made a game about a small object that already kind of fit into the theme, but you also can scale even to the smaller layer of molecular defense of the cell. For this game, I wrote a story. I've created 3D objects. Basically, it was the first usage of Blender, non-donut related. And I wrote a song. Actually, I went very creative on this game. So the game itself can seem really original. But it's hard to keep educational games entertaining. And so I think that I will postpone improving this idea for some time later, because my second game was also developed during the second jam that basically was less than a week after the first jam. So during the solo Dev Jam 4, I've created a rafting adventure when you're kayaking on a white water, when you're going through rapids, and basically with this game I actually reached the level of development, the level of games that I want to do. So I am planning to continue working on this game in near future, so you will see a lot of updates about this game. It's based on my hobby of whitewatering, so make sure to follow, to read devlogs if you want. I also posted a full 2 hours devlog on my live channel. Another day, another jam. So basically, I just wrote a single script that I need to edit because I messed left and right. Some small steps that I need to do for having a game ready. We will do this. What else? I think I will beat my record of working hours per week. Like, share, subscribe. Yes, you. Check, subscribe button. Yeah, I know. But do it. So besides sharing updates on my development path and promoting my new game, I also like to share my experience of participating in game jams as a novice jammer, because actually it was my second and third jams in my life, and I still remember the first one that was a year ago. So I think I have an opportunity to tell you what it's like to start jamming, to start developing, because I think I significantly improved my skills and I can be called novice jammer again. So, my recommendations for attempting your first game jam. First of all, choose duration time. The jams can be typed on how much time you can spend working on this project. I would say game jam can last several days, like 2 or 3, a week, or a month. And they are really different based on the time you can spend on it. I've participated only on short jams. The first one was 24 hours, the second was 4 days, and the third was 72 hours, so 3 days. For me, the 3-day duration is the optimal. It's really hard to do something only in 3 days, but at the same time, I know that I'm better working when I'm focused on one thing only. And when doing some game in limited amount of time, I will spend all the time that I have on this game. And the time limitation just allows me to relax after it. I just have no power to continue working on this project. I have to finish it. And that helps me to set my time. But maybe for you, the jam that lasts a month will suit better. Second thing is set your goals. For the first jam, I'm not recommending to set goals to win a jam. My first goal was to release a project, to submit a game that can be playable, that you can actually play. And I think it's pretty good first goal for your jam. But if you are not so experienced in game developing, maybe you can just set a goal to have a fun. Then just note that in this case, please don't torture yourself. Please not go into sleep deprivation. Work only time that you want. Have fun with your friends. And just remember about your goal. And we can continue with our third point. Choose your team. You can work on team, and my advices will work for you also. The last jam that I joined was Solo Dev Jam. And it's for solos only, so you can work only alone. And rather you working alone or in a team, you need to analyze in advance your strong and weak sides. So you need to know what you're capable to do, what is not impossible for you right now, and what games you want to make in general. For me, I know that I want to work alone, and I know that I have some standards for games that I set it myself. I know that I'm more focused on gameplay, so I need like some interesting new gameplay. I don't want to make games about something that I don't have expertise in, and if I have really strong expertise, like with biology or rafting, I want to bring some knowledge with my game. I want to tell something for audience that you don't know from mass media. I want to tell something new. But again, for you, these standards could be really different. You just need to write them or to just think about it in advance. The most important thing about timing in jam. So a jam that lasts 3 days, it's not actually a 3-day event that you will be participating in. You actually probably will need to spend some time in advance to prepare yourself, to refresh some knowledge, so you can just focus on creating a game and not thinking how to do some basic stuff. You also want to basically prepare yourself for it, to like buy groceries in advance, to like clear your house in advance, and to clear your time. So you want to finish all tasks before and make sure that you will focus on only game jam during this 3 days or how much your jam will last. Also, after the jam, you're also not free, because usually in game jam you can edit your title, description, and cover and screenshots and make a video, so you can work on promotion of your game. And it may seem that you will not need this time, but actually you will immediately found on the day after the jam was ended that you want to like switch cover for like make it brighter, to switch some screenshots from like basic image to GIFs, and GIFs are hard to make because you need to optimize the size of image. So just plan that even for a jam that will last only 2 days, you still will spend some time before, some time after, because you also need to rest after it, and it could affect your everyday tasks. So probably you want to take a day off after jam ends. It will be very good for you. Sometime before the jam, I strongly recommend you to read the rules, because the theme will be announced on the time, but the rules, they're fixed. So just make sure that you remember the rules of this jam, that you know that which assets you can use and cannot use. Should your game, for example, be compiled for a specific platform, like some jams, you have to make a version that will work on Windows, and if you don't have a Windows, you need to think about it in advance how you will test it. Maybe you need to write your friend. So just make sure that you understand all the rules. At least you remember them. But if the jam is on itch.io, then probably you can edit title, description, because the system will prevent you only uploading new files. And all of this is done by itch automatically. So, the timings during the jam. Usually, a short period jam goes on weekends and starts on Friday evening. At least this is timings for Europe. So check your local time also. But for me, I usually had a very short period on Friday evening, some full days, and the last day ends like in the evening, so I can work full day on it. The first day I usually spend on writing idea. I recommend you to have your idea finished in the first day, so you know all your features, you know everything. You basically have a design document that you probably wrote on paper. The second day, the days after, you need to spend on development. If we are talking about 3-day jam, then 2 days you can spend on developing prototype, developing art, finding music, assembling it together, and seeing that your idea worked out. And I strongly recommend to spend the last day on testing your idea, on building it, and seeing that your project can run on other device other than your machine, so you know that other people can play it. And here some small additional point that we will talk about is about how you need to build your game. So usually people prefer to play in browser because usually people don't like to download some software from unknown developers. And you will have a problem if you don't have a browser version, that your game is not rated and nobody plays it. And you need to have like a really good game to compete with others if you don't have a browser version. Note that I personally hate building HTML5 games with Unity. So my last two games, they don't have a browser version because on my first gem I found out that it worked terribly wrong. So the version for Windows worked as I expected it to be, for Linux the same, but for HTML5 the camera was off, so many things was off, and also you need to limit your graphics ability. So I like to develop 3D games, and now I will spend some time optimizing my kayak game for HTML5, and I don't think it will be an easy task. And if you are building for Windows, note that you don't need to include debugging tool in your final build, because when you compressing your file, just make sure that in the folder that you are compressing there is no Unity debugger. So please don't make my mistakes again, don't include this file. Now let's talk about planning the game. So in the first day, I strongly recommend you to develop a full idea for a game. And this idea should be very, very small. You should limit yourself to develop like the simplest game that is possible, that still will fit with your idea that you want to do. Because when you will work on it, you will immediately notice some little things that you want to include, that you want to polish, that you want to change, like font, buttons, but it will take some time from you. And if the project is big, then you will just fail to finish your game. With small project, you can easily add some things if you feel that you have more time, but at least you will be sure that you can finish this, and you will spend some time polishing it, so the first impression on your game will be good, and this is really important. And remember that when people play game jam games, they usually spend not more than 5 minutes on one game. So you need to set your gameplay length to only 5 minutes. You need to show the best game you can on 5 minutes, and what it will be after is not important. The game can be over, nobody will notice it. Just make sure that you're developing the best experience with 5 minutes. There are actually two strategies you can use on a game jam. First is if you're aiming to win. You need to focus on something that you really know. And you need to spend a lot of time on tests, on polishing, so you need to create a real game in like shorter period of time. But for myself, I chose another strategy. I'm trying to experiment. I'm trying to do new things. So this helps me to increase my skills. I can learn something in very short period of time. I can try some skills that I've heard about, read about before, but I never had an opportunity to test them. And I can see how I am improving on this jam. But it's actually also lowering my chances to win, because when you're doing something new, probably something will go wrong. And remember, the scoring is not important. Yes, it probably says someone who haven't win a jam, but really, the thing that you need to get from a jam is feedback. And some scoring, like with stars, will not show you how you need to change your game. But a comment from other developer who enjoyed your game and who has like really good ideas on his opinion, it's something that can really help you improve yourself. and probably even improve the game if you want to continue working on it. And here we're discussing the last point. Choose what you want to do with project only after you finished it, and probably after some rest. It could not be the best game you developed. My first gem, I will not continue working on this project. The game is not the greatest, so I have spent only one day just making it playable, because as always with gems it was somehow broken. With my second gem, with this game, I've really found a good idea, I found a good story, I found a good interpretation, but I don't feel that this game can promote itself. But the third game, I feel that I've created a really good game, and the feedback, it was proposing some new features and making some different play modes. And so only after getting this feedback, I realized that I need to continue on this game, and so that I will do. But also remember, the winning can actually make a difference for you. It's not about winning some money prize, because rarely game jams they have like a real financial prize that can really make a difference in your life. But if you have won, then your game is getting free promotion. Then everybody talking about your game. Then probably you can go to press and say, "Hi, I am the guy who won the game jam." And more people will know about your game, so probably you need to continue working on it. So, for me it was a very productive 7 days. I will continue working on my kayak adventure. Check out the devlog, as I said, check out the written devlog, subscribe, hit the like button, and stay strong.